What is up, everybody? It's always difficult to see if I've started hitting record. We are live. As far as recording, it's the mailman, Jimmy Milstead, aka the commish of the league, fantasy hockey, and this is really Stork's Desk episode 2 of the season. The 2024-2025 season has been awesome. We're in week 11, and joining me tonight on this December the 19th, 2024, the deputy, Kevin Stork. How are you doing, buddy? Happy holidays. It's ramping up here. Are you ready for Christmas?
I am ready for Christmas, and how are you doing is the other question. I'm doing fine. We're getting pretty close to midway through our season, so it's time to bear down and get those teams in order. If you need to catch up, it's time to put some work into it. And if you're ahead, it's time to watch out behind you.
Yes, we're basically halfway through the season as far as the regular season in fantasy. A 21-week grind here at the league. We have 4 weeks of playoffs. But NHL-wise, we haven't really talked since before, right when the season started. You got your Maple Leafs hat on. What are you thinking? They look pretty good to me. I like their goaltending situation, even though Stolarz is banged up, be out for 4 to 6 weeks. But they had a 1-2 punch with him and Joe Wall. What are you thinking right now? Austin Matthews is back.
Well, I got to tell you, it is certainly a different Leafs team. They've really grinded out the defensive problems they had. And they're just playing really well right now. And if you look at their defensive record, they're like second in the league, which is unheard of for a Maple Leaf team in the last 10 years. So they've changed the system. Berube's got them playing defense, which is why they're not scoring as many goals, but they're keeping the puck out of the net, and it's starting to really pan out for them. It looks like they bought into the system, although sometimes they don't look so good, but that's expected. I mean, we're not even halfway through the season. But yeah, I think Berube's got them playing the way they need to play to win playoff games. So that's the whole goal. It's not how good they are during the season, because we know they're a good team. It's the playoffs that Berube's focusing in on, and he's trying to get them into good habits now. So when it comes to the playoffs, they know exactly what they need to do. So I'm happy with them. I think their record could be a little better because they did blow a couple of games that they should have won. But then again, they won a couple of games they shouldn't have won. So
Yeah,
it all works out. But I'm quite pleased with my Leafs right now.
right on. Yeah, Anthony Stolarz, too bad. He was on fire. He had a save percentage of .927, and he was just behind Connor Hellebuck in GAA 2.15 before he had some knee attention. But Joseph Wall, not too bad himself, 2.30. He's doing as well. He's joining in that team defense. The guys in front of him, Chris Tanev and company. I like the way your team's playing, Storky. William Nylander, 20 goals. What are you thinking of Mitch Marner? He's been looking solid. And the absence of Austin Matthews, those guys picked it up for him, and Matthews is back. I'm impressed by the Leafs. If you remember on the pre-show that we had, I think I might have got cut off on our first show. I never got to my Stanley Cup pick. I don't know if that ever showed up on YouTube. I'll have to go back and review, but I picked the Leafs and the Dallas Stars, and they just played the other night, and the Leafs beat the Stars. I did pick the Stars to win the Cup, but I like the way the Leafs are playing, Stork. I think with Coach Chief Berube, like you said, I think he's having them play the right way, and I think it's going to, like we said, it's going to all come down to that first playoff matchup, and I think they're for real this year, buddy.
Yeah, I do too, man. Like I said, I'm quite pleased. I don't mind that they're not scoring as much when they're keeping the puck out of the net and they're playing good defense. Because defense, as you know, wins Stanley Cups and wins playoff games. So hopefully they keep doing what they're doing and getting better and better every game.
Well, as we have this opening here, I'm also talking about my Washington Capitals. Yeah, that's a team that might be one of the most impressive. There's a lot of teams out there that I'm impressed with, but I had the Caps making the playoffs in my preseason picks, but I had no idea it would be off to this start. They just kind of hit a wall a little bit. They just came off a 10-game road win streak. Unfortunately, Ovi had a broken was it a fibia or
Yeah.
a broken bone in his leg when he played the Utah hockey club, Jack McBain. But he was on fire on the Gretzky chase, and he is rumored to be back, but he either against the Bruins, I think. It's going to be next week before Christmas. So
Hopefully, I think they're going to keep him till after Christmas, but
yeah. I
you
mean,
don't
either
want to
or.
rush him back. You don't want to rush him back. So
The goal chase has been on the back burner for me just because this team has been playing tremendous. You're getting great goaltending out of Logan Thompson at a bargain value. I mean, this guy's going to get paid next year by somebody. Hopefully, the Caps retain him. They got defenseman Jacob Chikrin, John Carlson lighting it up. Just an overall great team effort. Guys like Connor McMichael, I know you know because you have him on some
I
fantasy
love
teams.
that kid.
Do you have him on your team in this league, or
Yes.
is it okay?
No, I have him in our league and in the FLHNA league too.
Because
I
I
like
have
the
him in
kid,
the
so
track league. Yeah, he's been
I can't wait
unbelievable.
till Ovi comes back to so we can feed him some more pucks.
Yeah, Alexei Protas, another young guy.
I got him too. There's a
I want to
couple of
say
guys on the Caps I like. So,
he's been
and
up
that
there, and
deal when they signed Chikrin, that was big. And when I seen it, I thought about it right away. I thought, if this guy stays healthy, he's going to help Carlson in the back end for sure. And he has. He's been really good.
So as far as both of us, man, we could be facing each other in the playoffs at this rate. Hopefully, both teams stay healthy. It'd be great for our rivalry between me and you. And the guy that's not here, our brass member, the Colonel, Nick Reedy, another team, the Minnesota Wild. They kind of took one on the chin against the Stanley Cup champs last night. But Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov, Nick's not here to talk about him. And this guy's throwing his name in the Hart Trophy race. Let me bring up his stats here. He's just behind Nathan McKinnon now for points, as Nate Dogg was the first to 50. Kaprizov is at 48 to what my NHL.com is showing me. So the Thrill looking really good there in Minnesota. He also has 22 tucks. He's one behind Leon Draisaitl. What are your thoughts on the Minnesota Wild, buddy? And big props to he took one on the chin last night, like we said, the Flower. He just passed Patrick Wall last night with his 1,000th career start. I don't think he'll ever touch Marty Brodeur, but he has a chance to catch Luongo. That would be for second place. Thoughts on the Minnesota Wild, man?
Oh, there's a few guys on that team that you got to appreciate, and when Kaprizov is going, that team goes. They've had a couple of injury woes. They got Boldy back now, and a couple other guys. Now they've lost Middleton, which, he's a good young defenseman. They're going to miss him a little bit, but all in all, I don't think Nick has anything to worry about when it comes to the Wild. They're going to be there at the end.
So that's the NHL. Let's talk about our league, the league, fantasy hockey. This is our third season, and this is our first STORKSDESK, basically covering what's been going on. Last year we had a chance to do it pretty much weekly, and the first year as well. But the more the things go, the more the things stay the same. We're going to talk about the champions. The only champion that we've had in this league, the two-time champions. He's in your division, the Gretzky division. D.B. Cooper, owned by Mark Raymond. And by the way, I failed to wish Mark a happy birthday last week. A happy belated birthday to the champions. If you recall, happy birthday, Mark. Stork, the way, let's talk about it here on the Storks desk. He had a rough start, but this man has found himself back in first place. He does have 2 ties, but that counts as 2 points combined. He is 6-2-2. He leads the Gretzky division right now. I'll just go over the standings real quick. In the Gretzky, I don't have a graphic to show in the background, but D.B. Cooper's at it again, guys. A slow start, but he's 6-2-2. He's got 14 points. Our buddy Huma, another member of the brass, the scribe, Julio Virilius, he is 5-5. He's had a up and down season, but he was in the playoffs last year. He's got 10 points. The Frozen Norseman, who had a kick-ass start, our buddy Nick Reedy, the Colonel, he's not here to talk about it. He has fallen, but he's still at 500, 5-5. I want to say did he start 5-0, Stork, or
he was 5-2 at one point. He's lost the last 3
yeah, he's lost a lot of games lately, but he's still in contention. It's a wild battle there in the Gretzky. He's got 10 points. And then it's you, my fine sir, the Langley Scorpions, 5-5. You've kind of been up and down, but you've kind of been getting some battles here and there. Right now, you got a 4-3 division record. We'll see how it goes this week. And then Probert Etiquette, he had a disastrous start. He gave away a lot of trades, acquired a lot of 2025 draft picks. We can talk about some of those trades here in a little bit, but he's mustered a 3-6-1 record. He finally got a point against Mark Raymond, his first ever point. He's still yet to beat Mark Raymond, but 3-6-1. This is not where Dave usually is in the league fantasy hockey. He had a 5-0 start last year and then just swan-tonned out of the playoffs, but he's not to be taken lightly this year. Now as a spoiler, he's got Patrick Laine lighting it up, but he has 7 points. And then the poor DuPont Pipe players, Tim Kelly, I'm wondering if he can join us tonight with a run-in, but he has fallen to 1-8-1, and he is already in danger of being this year's tuna, worst team in the league. But Tim's still got some great players and can beat you in a given week. He's only got 3 points. As far as the Gretzky buddy, what are you thinking? D.B. Cooper at it again on top. He's finding a way. Your thoughts on the Gretzky division before we talk about the OV division?
Well, I mean, I still have 2 matches against DB, so I got to focus on them. 2 matches, that's a 4 points to catch up to him. So, but yeah, he's doing what DB Cooper does. Mark Raymond is got a bit of a dynasty going on with 2 belts underneath them. So we got to put a stop to him. He is the guy to beat, and we knew that at the beginning of the season.
His captain is back, Brady Tkachuk. He had a rough start to his draft. We'll talk about them in a little bit. The New York Rangers, Mika Zibanejad was his first-round pick this year, but he's finding guys. He manages his team. He visits the waiver wire a lot. D.B. Cooper, I mean, we're only halfway through it, but 6-2-2. Could he be onto a three-peat? But there's a long way to go before that. Let's go over the Ovechkin real quick. Mainly this show, we're going to talk about the Week 10 results, and that's when you played, Mark. But we didn't have a Commissioner's Corner this week, which we have had weekly on our Facebook group rooms. But in the Ovechkin, it's been quite of a battle here, Stork, between Mark Wood, the Woody Woodpeckers Hockey Club, and our old pal Scott Landon with an over-injured reserve. Both teams are at 8-2. Scott finally took a loss last week to yours truly. I started off 1-4, everybody, but I have a 5-game winning streak going. I've gotten up to 6-4 now, but this week I'm feeling it on the chin. My 5-game win streak is in jeopardy. Is Waylon Womack, who is in 4th place. He's only 4-6. He is beating me at the moment, but we'll talk about that later. So Waylon is in 4th, and then the Killer Bunnies, they've been up and down a bit. Dan Hall, 2nd-year manager, he's had a rough go at the division. He's only 2-5 in it, but he's 4-6. But he's very much in it because I believe, is winning this week, if I recall. And then Alex Buchanan, the defending Ovechkin division champion, Stork. They've been hurting. They have Connor McDavid on their team. I knew he was out for a couple years, but for some reason, she's a 3-7 record and struggling at 6 points. But I have a feeling she'll find a way out of it, as she always does. But last year, she was able to win the Ovechkin division and go all the way to the finals. What are your thoughts on the Ovechkin division? A pair of 8-2 teams in Mark Wood and Scott Lanham. Scott had an off year last year. Mark did make the playoffs, but was like a one and done. What are you seeing between those two guys? Oh, and by the way, Mark did beat Scott for Scott's first loss before Scott lost to me. Yeah. But Mark, he's back in it. Both looking for their 9th win this week.
Yeah, it's been quite a battle in both divisions, but I am not surprised by what Nova's done. I said it at the beginning of the year that they were going to be one of the top teams in the division and be a playoff-bound team, so that doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me is the Cherry Bombs. I expected them to be right up there, but they haven't played well. I mean, having McDavid out for a while, I think shook them up a little bit. But being where they are, if they have a strong second half, they can get right back in this race and in the playoff picture. Killer Bunnies, like you said, they've been a little inconsistent, but they're still right up there. So that whole division is really still in there, especially to make it interesting. If the Cherry Bombs get back in the mix, and it's gonna make the rest of the division look over their shoulders because she's got a good team there. So it'll be interesting if she has a strong second half.
Yeah, and of course our buddy Don Cherry, he's been back with us this campaign, like always. This was his week 10 Grapevine Power Poll coming in. As you see up top, you got Scott still at the number 1, even though he took a loss last week to yours truly. That was an electric game. We're going to talk about that here in a few minutes as we review week 10. But he'll still stay at the top according to Grapes. Right on his chin there is Mark. No movement there as you see the yellow arrows. They all stay in position. Mark Raymond could be one of the hottest teams in the league, and he's stuck at number 3. And then yours truly, I've never in the history of this league been higher than 4. I started out the season at the Tuna down there and below, but I'm impressed with the way I've been playing ever since I had a stretch where I played you, Nick, and Julio, and I was able to get all 3 victories, buddy. But I did have a rough start, but I was able to get out of that hole. But I'm taking one right now on the chin to Waylon. But what are you thinking of Don Cherry's ranking at you? He's got Julio right behind me, and then you at number 6. Nick Reedy, he was on top for about 4 or 5 weeks to start this season. He's already down. He's dropping down to 7. Dan Hall up and down. It's tough to get a tough read on Dan Hall. He looks real deadly some weeks, and then he just throws up some duds. But we'll take a look at how he did last week. Probert, the Wendigo. I'm surprised Waylon's down that far. He's got questions in net, but he's always finding ways against me. And then we just talked about Cherry Bombs and Tim Kelly down there below. Thoughts on Don Cherry's Don Cherry's rankings for Week 10. Our buddy, he's 29 on 29 predicting league games this year. I know we'll talk about the brass picks here in a little bit, but what are you thinking of his rankings here as we've come to Week 11?
Well, they're pretty accurate. Maybe Don's cutting the drinking down a little bit, and then he's making sense in his rankings this week. So we'll see. There you go. I think he's had a lot of scotch and cherry and cherry.
I hear you.
Cherry for cherry.
Don't let him hear me say this, but I think he has a podcast out there. I'm going to have to give that a listen to. I know he has a conference call with me every Sunday night to give me his rankings, but I'd have to say they look pretty accurate as well to me. And but there's a long, long way to go when it comes to the league fantasy hockey. Blackhawks are leading the Kraken 2-0 as we speak. I was waiting on Tim Kelly. He's supposed to be joining us maybe with a run-in tonight, but we'll see. Let's talk about last week, Stork. It was week, I think I have week 10 up there. You know what?
That's week 11 there.
Yeah, I know. That's what we're talking about right now. Do I have week 10? Nope, that's not it. That was last year. Well, let's move to the brass picks first, and then I'll talk about last week. This is what we have for this week. Excuse my delay here. I'm looking for league fantasy hockey. We're gonna go into the scoreboards, and we're looking for week 10 because that's what was last week. Usually I'm better prepared here, Stork, but we haven't done this in a while.
That's all right. You're rusty.
I don't know if this is it either. Let's take a look. Does that say week 10?
There you go.
Oh, okay. Good. That's what we're going to go with. So we'll go to the brass picks in a little bit. But these were the scores last week, buddy. Over there in the Ovechkin, we had a great, thrilling. This was the match of the week between Adna and Nova. Since we didn't have a commissioner's corner, we're going to review these games. A very close, contested. Scott had the lead all week, buddy. And then Sunday, he ran out of player pickups. Jimmy didn't use any. He inserted another goalie. Joel Hofer came on the scene and almost shut out the Rangers, but eventually almost was not even close, really, because he gave 2 goals. But he had a great game. He put me over the hump in shots against and some other categories. And then I had a couple of block shots, picked up Parenko off St. Louis. Just, you chip away at the categories you need. Scott Lanham was dominating me all week. Offensively, he crushed me. But my defense and my goaltending took over. And I want to say one of the traits Dave had this year, I gave up a first-round pick for Connor Hellebuck. And, arguably Connor Hellebuck, probably the best goalie in the game. He's always questionable around when it counts. And he costed me last year in my playoff matchup against Mark Raymond. It was basically him versus Mark Raymond's goalie, Charlie Lindgren, that week. I got eliminated. So I live and die with Connor Hellebuck. I got him back on my team after not being able to draft him. So Dave gets my first-round pick next year. But Hellebuck was a big reason I got this victory last week. What a thrilling matchup. Hats off to Scott. It was 10-9. Is that what the scoreboard says? I got to bring up my app here. I can't see behind me, Stork, too well. Yeah, let's talk about it here.
I can't see the numbers either.
Yeah,
we got to start making those in white, I think.
Yeah, I know, maybe. So 10-9, I beat. Yeah, I'll try that next week. So 10-9, I beat Scott. Probert Etiquette, they did win. That was their 3rd win. They beat DuPont. This was kind of like the toilet bowl. Oh, that's over here. As you can see, Dave has had some good success against Tim. That one was 12-8. Huma and Nick's not here. Julio's not here, but those guys always have knockdown, drag-out fights. 12-8. Another loss for Frozen Norseman, buddy. I want to say, yeah, Don Cherry got that pick right, as you see. The grape. He had Julio picked correct. He had Tim wrong, though. He picked Tim. The Cherry Bombs, they got a win last week against Wayland over here. That was 12-9.
That
Another
was a big
12-9
win
score.
for her too.
Yeah, she got back into off of that. Tough loss for Wayland as he fell in the rankings. Then you, sir, you were talking about your rivalry with the champion, Mark Raymond. DB 12-7. He kind of has your number. I want to say it's 4-3 now. Like I said, I can't really squint. I'm sure you could probably see it better
two
on YouTube.
more. Two more against
two
him.
more.
I'm ready.
And then the Woody Woodpeckers Hockey Club, they had a loss before that, but they took Killer Bunnies to the woodshed. That was the biggest lopsided score of the week, 16-6. Mark takes Dan Hall down. Like we said, this was the first round of matchups in this series with 2 more to go, so there's a lot to be said. But my hat's off to Scott. He was a tough opponent. I'm going to have to get the offense going with mine, but should we dive in? Let's dive into your matchup with Mark. If I can, I'm going to exit at full screen here and bring up that matchup. What did you think of that match last week against Mark?
I just I couldn't get any offense going, and it cost me. The goaltending wasn't really there. He had some big games some big days by a few of their scorers, and I just couldn't get the scoring going. So I started to fade away towards the weekend, and I just could not catch up.
Well, you actually beat him in the big 3. You beat him in goals 15-12, assists 21-17, and points 36-29. Where he got you, Mark always actually he lost this category, I think, for 2 weeks straight, but he's always dominant. He had 33 minutes in penalties. Stork, you guys are like Lady Bing trophy candidates. You had 6 minutes in penalties all week. So a little team toughness might have helped you out last week. Let's talk about hits. He killed you in hits, 69-34. 69 hits, this guy, DB Cooper. Brady Tkachuk, I'm just going to list off the bat. This guy throws his weight around like nobody else. He had 7 hits. I thought he would have more than that, actually. But he gets an all-around heavy game from his guys. He has Thomas Hurdle. He threw 6 hits. Tom Wilson he has. What are your Tommy Wilsons having? Blown up face and all. He took a puck to the face from his own teammate, Jacob Tricker, that week. Is wearing a bubble right now. It seems to be a little pandemic with that, Stork. Zach Hyman took a slap shot from Evan Bouchard the other night. He's got a bubble and a big broken nose, it looks like. But as far as Storky, you had some close categories, but Mark's also been dominant in the faceoffs. 221 wins last week for him. You were no slouch with 144, but over 200 faceoffs for Mark Raymond. And he got the better of the goaltending, it looks like. He was 2-0. You were 2-2. He also had just better numbers at goals against, 1.31. You were almost at a 3. So neither one of you had a shutout. Both of you guys had 3 game-winning goals, but he had 2 shorty points that week, Stork.
Yeah.
He got a shorty point. Robert Thomas is back on his team after he was out for a while. And Sebastian Aho. I feel like Sebastian Aho is never talked about there in Carolina. Any thoughts on him? He had a shorty as well.
Well, he's back again, and he's a good player, but I mean, I got beaten in the intangibles against DB, that's for sure. I've been not very good at face-offs this year, and I got to work on that. That's why I picked up Kastelik from Boston.
He's had a good year.
I needed some hits and some toughness. So I'm hoping that he gets. He scored a goal for me tonight. I know that. But I need to address a couple of issues that I'm having. I fixed face-offs last year. I was around the middle of the pack, but This year
Yeah.
I'm down at the near the bottom, so I got to get it going. Look
Well,
who joined us.
Well, I'll tell you who really kicked butt for you last week, though, in your loss, though, was Nikita Kucherov. He only had one goal, but he had 8 points. I want to say in a 6-point game, did he not?
He
Against the
did,
Flames or
yes.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 9 points last week. So Connor McMichael kind of had a quiet week for you. But Austin Matthews back with 3 points.
Not enough. Right,
Yeah,
Tim?
he had a 5-point week. Let's talk about Macklin Celebrini. Sorry, my screen's not up. Let me before we go to Macklin Celebrini, let's welcome the
Let's
pipe
say
player
hi
Tim
to Tim
Kelly.
Kelly.
Yeah,
The
I
DuPont
didn't want
pipe
to. I
players.
didn't want to interrupt your guys' convo, but I came to talk about my crappy team. That might have to be banned for the league because I lost to Dave, who waved the white flag. What is going on here? Now, last I checked, about 20 minutes ago, I'm up 15-3 on the Colonel, so we're feeling pretty good right now. His goalies have
There
stunk
you go.
worse than mine. But yes,
I agree.
sorry.
We don't have the Colonel with us tonight to defend himself, but we're going to talk about your matchup here in a minute, Tim. But I see the Kraken have just scored real time here. Chicago Blackhawks at home. They've had a 2-0 lead most of the game. There's only 6:40 left. I didn't even get a chance to see who scored. What are you thinking of the new acquisition, Capo Caco, and the Kraken? They might have a shot at winning this game. Are you feeling the loss of Will Borgen?
Well, I mean, they got down 2-0. You're right. Riker Evans just scored a goal. Bjorky and Montour on the assist. But yeah, no, it was a pretty exciting, trade yesterday. I mean, it was interesting. Reading. Just reading about the trade. Go to a lot of message boards, as I'm sure you guys do too. A lot of the Rangers fans were sad to see Capo leave and think that the Rangers screwed up his development. They're not saying he's going to be a 100-point guy, but a lot of guys saying they think he could be a 60, 70-point guy for the Kraken.
Yes, Stork. I recall a couple years ago in the playoffs, it was the kid line. He was a part of that, right? I thought he did pretty well. I just don't think he was getting enough probably time there. And, I can't stand the Rangers myself, so I can't say I wasn't enjoying that. But, I think with a new scenery, I think it could be very exciting for Kraken Nation out here. But before Tim did a run in here, we'll talk about your match from last week, Tim. We didn't have a commissioner's corner. We're kind of reviewing last week's Week 10 scores. But I was talking about Storky's player, a possible Rookie of the Year candidate. What are you guys thinking of this Macklin Celebrini? Stork, he had a great week for you last week. What did I say? 5 points. I've been impressed with this kid. He had some time where he was injured early in the season, but he is back up there. I want to say with my player, Matvei Michkov, for the Calder this year. What are you thinking? Didn't you acquire him in a deal?
I did, and who knows? He might be my new captain next year, so we'll see how it goes. You never know what I'm going to do.
Breaking news.
I like Celebrini. He's a young kid, and he's full of talent. He's got some feist to him, and I kind of like that. A guy who can score goals, and he's feisty. He sticks up for himself, which I'm impressed with. And he plays a good 200-foot game. So, yeah, that's why I wanted to get him on my team. I think he's going to help me in the stretch.
Oh, crap. Timmy, I might be behind, but it looks like the Blackhawks just scored.
Bad news happened just now.
It's Nolan Allen, the former Seattle Thunderbird, scored.
There you go.
Unbelievable. A lot of Seattle ties here, Storky. But I'm really impressed, Stork, with Celebrini. That's breaking news. If you decide not to keep Austin Matthews, do you have any people who will pounce on that opportunity to grab? I know Tim Kelly. I want to say Tim had him the first year, didn't you not?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But real quick, we'll go back to
before it was the keeper league.
Yeah, we will see what the second half brings to me. But there could be some exciting news before the trade deadline if
Yeah,
I'm not doing very well.
I gotta find out what I even set as the trade deadline. I want to say it's late February, but yeah, Dave reminds me all the time, Tim, that why couldn't you have a keeper league the first because you had Connor McDavid, but
Yeah.
Dave's no slouch. His keeper after he made all those deals, he's in love with Braden Point. Um, so yeah, Storky took one on the chin against the champs. Stork, before we or Stork, Tim, before you came on, we were talking about the champs. It's a different year, but he's found his way back on the top, buddy. And DB Cooper 6-2-2 after the beating of Langley Scorpions and our buddy Kevin Stork. Stork though at 505-5. While Tim's here, we'll take a look at his matchup last week. Like you said, you played Dave Snellgrove of the Pro Etiquette. Both struggling teams here, halfway point. But Tim, I'm going to tell you, buddy, you took the big three. You beat him in goals 14-9, assists 23-18, and you outpointed him 37-27. And you even were a plus 17. Dave was a minus 16. It looks like how Dave beat you was like I beat Scott. It was all goaltending. Dave's goaltending was phenomenal. 3-0. He only gave up 7 goals all week, and he had a shutout. Who was Dave's goalie? Let's take a look. He had Linus Allmark. He's been on fire. That was all acquired in a trade from Mark Wood. Dave and Mark Wood have been dealing a lot this year. Here's Linus Allmark. He was a star of the week, if I recall. He was 3-0, only gave up 3 goals, a GAA of 0.99, and he had a lot of rubber thrown his way. A save percentage of .967, guys, with the shutout. Dave's also been throwing in Kirill Vamelka here and there, but he hasn't had anywhere near those stats. But Timmy, I noticed you got Thatcher Demko back. How's he been looking? You've had quite the goaltending carousel in your lineup, buddy. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Oh, yeah. You're the one that had Anthony Stolarz. So let's hear from you.
Got me a nice period last week, and now he's all hurt. But our buddy UPL, he's gone down the toilet, and Thatcher, we got, he didn't have a good Monday. I think he did take the L on, was that Monday?
Or Tuesday. The Sabres are correct me if I'm wrong. Are they an 11-game losing streak right now? The Buffalo Sabres are the biggest dumpster. I think who's worse, them or the New York Jets? As far as I don't think the Buffalo Sabres. One of those two teams is not. The state of New York,
Buffalo has been to the playoffs more recently than the Jets.
Okay.
But it's kind of that thing, right? Like, I mean, half the teams make the playoffs in hockey, right? I mean, or during the streak, over half the teams, for them, more than half the teams. And in football, the sport is designed for you to make the playoffs. So I don't know which one's worse.
That's incredible. Yeah, UPL. He's actually had okay number. That team in front of him is just the team defense. I don't know what's going on there. Lindy Ruff, like UPL for you had a .926 save percentage. For the match you had, he only gave up 2 goals. But Demko, I'm not sure what you think of him. Who did he play in your match? Colorado or somebody?
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, I right before Demko got reinstated a couple weeks, or not reinstated, but returned. I made it sound like he was on suspension. I went to the house that he resides in. I went to his barn for the Survivor Series.
Oh yeah.
So I like to think I helped him heal, but I do have to say this: Stork will know this because I'm in his fantasy football league. Dave may have won this battle, but I won the war in fantasy football. Dave was the 1 seed. My 6 and 7 team faced him in the playoffs in fantasy football and took him down. So
Yeah.
it was not a bad weekend in that regard.
Yeah, are the champs Mark Raymond from this league in that league, or
No, Mark
is he in your
Raymond's
league?
in League Two. He's in the other league.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a dang shame. I would love
Tim's
to
in my
see
League
him.
4 league. He's in my Mega
Okay.
Dynasty league. It's 6
Yeah,
teams. And Tim
yeah,
Kelly is down to the final 4.
yeah.
So,
I'm rooting. Storky, are you? I forgot what you said. Are you in it?
I'm not in that one. I'm in the
Oh,
finals
okay.
in another league, but I'm out of the playoffs everywhere else. But I
All right.
am in the
Well,
finals and looking to win a championship in FL up in A5. So
all right.
pretty
Good
excited
luck,
about that. But
gentlemen.
I'm rooting for Mr. Kelly in League 4. So go get him,
You know,
Tim.
Yeah, it's
David,
been a long rebuild, kind of like we're doing in the basketball league, but we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually.
This guy was a wild card team, and he's beating teams above him to get to where he's at right now. So
I've
yeah,
been hearing about
he's
it
got a
all
good
season
team.
long.
Yeah.
Dave Snellgrove, he's this one's eating at him, buddy. Dave has never won anything in my league, but he's a great fantasy player. It gnaws him to death, and I know he's really frustrated. And if you guys didn't know this, I know you guys both are in my league, fantasy football. We've been on a 6-year hiatus. Tim Kelly was our last champion, if you recall, Stork. He's got the Bruno Sammartino. Breaking news here on the show: we are reinstating the league fantasy football next year. I just haven't made the official announcement. It's going to be Super Bowl Sunday to the rest of the group. I'm still in the works of figuring out how this is going to go, but we're going to try to get a lot of the hockey guys. I'm not sure how it's going to work because I know there's some people that do not like the way it's set up. I might have to figure a way to make it work for everybody because I'd like to get that one ramped up again. But this is a hockey show. We're back to hockey. And Tim,
Yes,
anything
sir.
about last week's matchup again? Let's take a look. You got JT Miller back. He gave you
Yes, I
3
did.
assists. Maybe him and Elias Pettersson have made up. I hear a lot of it has to do with their relationship on that team. I mean, you have good all around players. You had a Connor Bedard starting to become alive. He had 2 goals, 4 assists for you last week. Adrian Kempe in LA, the LA Kings, they're kind of one of those teams that are really tough to play against. They beat the Philadelphia Flyers tonight, big time. You have Dylan Gunther. I mean, you have a really good team, but I guess like we were talked about when we talked off the top here with your match, it's all been about goaltending for you right now, trying to find that right fit. Do you want to talk about this matchup anymore?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would say with my team. By the way, 3-1 Blackhawks final. Uh,
Oh,
the
crap.
uh, uh, my team, the goalies were good to start the year, and the offense couldn't do anything. I mean, there were weeks where I would have single digit goals. There were multiple weeks, which is. I mean, let's be honest here, guys. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Well, I'm
But
feeling that. I'm feeling that stretch right now from last week and this week. I'm struggling this week in offense.
But you know what's happening? They're scoring again. They're getting to go. But then,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, the goaltending has gone to crap. But yeah, we'll see how this week's going. Like I said, before I joined you guys on the show, it was 15-3 about an hour ago when I checked. Fortunately, I've met my match in goaltending, somebody who's having a worse goaltending week than I am. So he's
Oh,
already
wow.
got. I mean, we're in Thursday. He's already got 3 losses. I mean, that's
Incredible.
impressive. It's
Yeah.
impressive.
The Colonel. So, giving Dave some love here with that win last week versus you. He's revamped his roster and picking up a lot of draft picks for 2025. He's got a lot of draft capital, gentlemen. He's going to be a team to reckon with next year. But I don't think he's even close to being done this year. He just picked up Capo Caca today, Timmy. I think that's
Not did
hilarious.
he?
Um, Dave's got guys he's acquired in trades. He's got a Patrick Laine. I mean, this guy's had a hat trick this week. Laine's been impressive ever since he came back for the Canadians. He's got a multi-faceted guy named Matthew Oliver, or is it Olivier? I don't even know what it is, on Columbus. He's his tough guy. I mean, he throws him the hits, gets him the penalties. Nazem Kadri chips in here there. Dave's got a guy like Shea Theodore on the blue line for Vegas. He gave him a 4-point week against you last week. He's got Morgan Riley on the blue line. I mean, this guy's still got a good team. And, of course, Braden Point last week, guys. 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. Them Tampa Bay Lightning just won't go away, and I think they're going to be there in the playoffs. But back to Dave. Linus Ullmark picked up, like we just said, and he's been throwing in Joey Decord. And if Freddie Anderson ever got healthy, this guy's out again. But he has him on his IR.
Happen,
so.
Man.
yeah, I know. Starkey should know that being the Leafs. But whenever Freddie's healthy, he's been unbelievable. But 12-8, Timmy. Unfortunately, you're 1-8-1. But like you said, this week you're off to a pretty good start. It looks like Dave is 3-6-1, and I haven't even checked on his score yet. But that was last week's matchup, guys. Let's talk about the unbelievable match I had against Scott. 10-9. Comeback fashion. He was kicking my ass all week. He kicked my ass in offense. This is just like Tim better in offense than Dave. Scott, 17-10 in goals. He had 26 assists to 13 to me. It was an off week offensively for the Americans. He doubled me point, 43-23. Just sick. I was good in the plus minus, but he was 2 better than me. He won 13-11. I beat him by 1 penalty minute. So that was impressive. That might have been it. The way I tied him was block shots, and then Scott's usually good at faceoffs. He only beat me by 109-108. So
it was goaltending the one up for you last week.
Yeah, goaltending 3-0 was my guys. We only gave up 8 goals. We were close to, I think, having a shutout. We never did. Our save percentage, .931. Scotty's goaltending just kind of let him down, and that's how it went. Standouts for yours truly. I really didn't have a lot of offensive standouts. Buznevich, 3 points was it.
You had Makar.
Barbashev and Barkov were both out for me, and Barbashev is still out. So that hurt me big time. Barkey's back, though. Goaltending, just phenomenal. Connor Hellebuck week. And like I said, Joel Hofer put me over the hump on Sunday. I didn't even start Logan Thompson last week, and he was pretty good. What a week here. Jesper Bratt, 4 assists for Scott. Drake Batherson off the hop had a hat trick, and so did Mikko Rantanen. So Scott was dominating in goals and point. I think Mikko had 5-point game that one week, or that one game against the Pittsburgh Penguins early in the week. Jake Gensel, these Tampa Bay Lightning are lighting it up, gents. He had 6 points last week. Kyle Connor this Scott is a tough team. If you guys have not played him yet, buckle your seatbelts. You're up against it. And then Scotty's goaltending, Aiden Hill was 0-1. Scotty did get a win with Charlie Lindgren. His numbers were pretty decent. Aiden Hill could have been a lot better. He gave up 6 goals for Scott that week. That hurt him. And he had Tristan Jarry for some reason. That was Scott's questionable pickup. That was the night he played Colorado. He gave up 5 goals before he got pulled. So any thoughts on this one, guys? What do you think of the Scott Landon squad, Tim? Have you played it yet?
I believe yes. And like most matchups, it did not go well for me.
Who was your one win? Was it against Dave?
I tied DB Cooper was one of my ties.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He beat me week 1.
That's right.
Holy smokes.
That's right. I was talking a bunch of junk.
Guess who you play next week?
Is it a rematch with you, Stork?
It's a rematch with me.
Yeah, he's coming for blood. No, I have not faced Mark. I have not faced Mark.
Okay. So,
Oh wait, no. Well, yeah, no, sorry. Which Mark? No, Raymond. No, I've not faced
uh,
Mark Raymond. I faced DB, and I've lost
yeah,
him, and I've
that's
tied him.
that's that's Mark Ramey. You haven't faced Mark Wood yet,
He
and you
hasn't
haven't
be,
faced.
he hasn't played Nova yet either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you haven't played the Ad Americans. I think we play coming up, so we'll make sure to talk about that one here shortly. So, I lost my train of thought. Actually, I lost the. Okay, back to week 10 here because we didn't have a commissioner's corner. Let's talk about Huma and Frozen Norseman, two brass members. Nick took it on the chin, guys, 12-8. Huma, I believe, owns him 4-3, if I'm not mistaken. But the Frozen Norsemen, they were better in all the offensive categories, like we said. It's kind of been the theme of last week. Nick dominated in points. Well, not really, 38-33 overall. He outscored Huma 19-15 in goals and one better assist, 19-18. Nick's been awesome in plus minus. His first couple years, he was like off the charts in the negatives, but Julio beat him there, 15-12 in the positives. The power play was all Nick's. He had 9 power play points. Huma struggles on the power play. He only had 3. Julio did have a shorty point. But like we said in the theme, Julio dominated in goalie. I mean, he didn't dominate, but he did enough to get the wins where he dominated in the category count because Nick was awful. He was 2-3, GAA of 4.37, a save percentage of 0.867. That's just god awful. We're going to go over his goalies here in a minute. Julio was not that much better, but he did enough where he got the categories. He barely beat him in goals against. 17 goals against was Huma, 18 for Nick. Julio's save percentage was 0.894, and he was able to win the category, guys. Julio outsaved and had way more rubber shot at him. So 12-8 there. Goaltending for Nick. Let's take a look at his goalies. He had Philip Gustafson, who went 1-1, and I noticed this was one of the trades this week, wasn't it? Igor Shesterkin was 1-2. That's a trade we didn't talk about, Stork. Woody Woodpeckers acquire Igor Shesterkin and going to the Frozen Norseman is the breadman, Artemi Panarin. Was that not the trade? What are your thoughts on that one, guys?
I believe that was the trade, yeah.
I'm trying. I didn't see him on his roster here yet. I know. I'm pretty sure that was the trade this week. I didn't announce that, and I forgot to. Yeah, Artemi Panarin is on. He's a little banged up right now, but that was the deal between the guys. Nick Stork has not been happy with Shesterkin this whole year, and he hasn't had great fantasy numbers. It's just the way the Rangers have been. What are your thoughts, Stork, on Igor Shesterkin as a fantasy player? He has not been good.
He's not been good. Well, none of the Rangers have been good either. So, they're all having, like we talked about before the show. I don't know what's going on in New York, but I think it goes from upper management down because I think the players have stopped playing. There's something going on in New York. I don't know what it is, but I mean, seeing Trouba get ousted out of there, and now Kakko's gone. Nobody's playing well. Nobody seems to be very interested. They're falling behind games early and never being able to catch up. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in New York, but all of New York State is having a bad year for sports, that's for sure.
Exactly. But the one thing going well for Nick is Kirill Kaprizov. Like we said earlier in the show, they took one on the chin last night, but he had 5 goals last week for Nick, and he's definitely in the running for the Hart. For Julio, the guy that probably is the Hart right now, Nate McKinnon, the first to 50 points. Last week, Julio had 4 goals, 5 assists from Nate Dogg. This is one of Tim's favorite players. Tim, what are you thinking of Nate Dogg, man? This guy, what a horse. He also had 28 faceoff wins. This is Julio's keeper. What a dominating week. Any thoughts, Tim, on I know you love the Colorado Avalanche, buddy.
Well, I don't hate McKinnon. I save all my energy for Bakar. No, no. No, he was. I did enjoy though. I did enjoy seeing. I will always hold that first Kraken playoff victory, or series victory over Colorado as defending Stanley Cup champions, and it was great. Great to see. So, but yeah, McKinnon, he seems like a class guy. But yeah, I mean, great keeper. It's kind of weird though, I know that's hockey, but it's just like teams come and go, and I know the Avalanche are good, but they've you would think with all that talent they would have been. I feel like they should have won another one at some point. I don't know. Am I being too harsh?
They might do
There's
it.
only one cup though, right? There's only one cup to win.
Yeah. Well, they traded for a goalie in Mackenzie Blackwood this year. Maybe that's what they were messing with. As Georgiev went to San Jose. By the way, I think they're playing each other tonight, aren't they?
They're right. They're playing right now. Yeah, I picked up Mr. G.
All right. So we'll see how it works for you, Timmy. Back to this matchup. These two had a trade earlier this year. We didn't talk about it, Stork. Julio ended up getting Jack Hughes 1-for-1, or was there picks involved? And going to Nick was his boy Zuccarello. This is what kills the Colonel. What do you think? I'm just not liking that deal. He traded away his number one pick, Jack Hughes, for a guy he loves, but it's like a stack play, purely Minnesota Wild homerism. I want to say they swapped picks, but then Zook gets hurt. This is where Nick's downfall began, in my opinion. Jack Hughes, he's still got a lot to prove, but I still think he's on this level right now, and he can get to 100 points. Julio's got Jack Hughes. What were your thoughts on that deal? Tim took a break. Storky, we never talked about that on this is pretty much our first show.
Yeah.
What did you think of that deal?
I wish I would have known he was on the trade block, because I would have. I as you remember, I debated taking him number one. But I don't know. I think Nick's hit the panic button. That's all I can think of right now. But he did get Panarin, so he's going to be more of a problem for him being a New York Ranger. So, like I said, I think he's lost 3 in a row, and he's starting to panic and getting, he's getting a little upset with his team right now.
I still kind of like Nick's chances if he can get Philip Gustafson consistent. I like his goaltender. Where Julio
he's hurt right now too. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Julio's goaltending kind of concerns me. He's got Stu Skinner. I mean, I can't remember if it was Tim or no. He was a Stork Cup champion last year. D.B. Cooper had him. Stu Skinner, he's Stu Skinner, but it looks like everybody else Julio streams. He has Sam Montenball. He's had James Reiner on his roster. Devin Levi, Scott Wedgwood. He's the backup now in Colorado. I think when it comes to Julio, he's a playoff team, but he's only going to go as far as possibly Stu Skinner can take him. What are your thoughts, Tim, on your division rival's goaltender?
Yeah, it's weird. I remember, you see a guy like Skinner, and it was. It was very iffy last year, but he won it with them. But I got to be honest with you. I need a team like Edmonton. It's a weird. They're a weird team to me as well. I mean, I know they played for the cup, but they need the improvement. He needs the improvement on that goaltending there. Not all of us can be 1-8-1 in this league.
Well, I got the faith. You'll probably end up beating me, Timmy. I think you can get back in to respectability. And plus, you always have something to play for if you don't make the lofts. It's all about the. Well, I'm going to let Stork promote that this year. We're not having a tournament. We're going to have that best of 3 or 4, whatever it is. We got 2 more matchups real quick to talk about. Let's go to the Cherry Bombs. They had beaten the Washington Wendigo last week, 12-9. My opponent this week, Whalen, took one on the chin. He doesn't score a lot of goals, but he gets a lot of points. He gets a lot of assists. He had 33 assists last week. He just killed Alex. She only had 15. Alex had more goals, 17-12. But Whalen overall, 45 points to 32, got it done. He lost, though, but he got it done in the offense. That's what I was saying. She pretty much killed him on shots on goal, 120-98, guys. The power play was all Whalen, though. He had 16 power play points. This guy, that's just sick. And this week against me, guys, he's already got 4 game-winning goals. He might have more. I haven't even checked. That's sick. But
that was awesome.
Where she took it all, it looked like she out hit him 75-45. She had a better goaltending record, 2-1 in her crease. Phenomenal GAA 1.95. And her save percentage was .913. Whalen's just he's got Alex Lyon back, but that's pretty much like who he rolls with a lot. So he plays with fire there in the net. He likes to stream. McDavid last week for Alex had 4 points. I don't know if he's still kind of lingering on injuries, but maybe it's just more of a team thing for him these days. Leon Draisaitl, though, she doesn't have him, but he's on the Woody Woodpeckers. He is, like we said, the Rocket Richard right now. He was the first to 20. He probably almost has 25 by now. She has Kirill Marchenko. I like this player, Stork. He's in Columbus. Columbus has been a tough team. They beat New Jersey tonight. But
they got some good young talent, Jimmy. I mean,
yeah,
they
she
really
had a
do.
3-point week from him last week. Tage Thompson on that struggling Buffalo team, he's still getting some goals and assists. He had 4 points on week 10. She's got Seth Jarvis, who got named to that Canadian national team. He hits all the intangibles here and there. Nothing spectacular for him last week. But she's got a good team. It's better than her record, I think, 3-7. Her goalies were Darcy Kemper and Sergei Bobrovsky. I want to say Sergei was hurt a little bit, but he bounced back for her last week. He was only 1-1, but they were on that West Coast trip. But Bob was out for a little bit, and he's back. And Darcy Kemper's playing all right for LA, better than he was with the Caps. For Whalen, he has Jack Eichel. He had 3 assists last week. Sidney Crosby, 3 assists. Ricard Raquel. This guy's having a resurgence right now with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh kind of waking up, Stork. Nashville's a dreadful team, but Jonathan Marchessault last week had 2 goals, 3 assists, and 5 points for Whalen. This used to be a player of 10s.
Love Marchie.
Were you going to draft him this year, or did Whalen beat you to the hop? I don't remember.
I believe he beat me to the hop on that one.
Yeah, because he was on your team a couple years, I want to say.
Yes, he was. As a lifelong Golden Knights fan, I was a big Marchie guy.
We'll talk to Stork on this one. I love this player this year. He's having a great season, Stork. You can elaborate. Whalen has Jonathan Tavares. 3 goals, 2 assists last week for 5 points. 39 face-off wins. This might be Whalen's MVP right now. What are you thinking of Johnny Tavares' season so far?
Well, I mean, Johnny. He's been consistent his whole career. And, he's always good for 70 to 80 points a season. But he's on a nice goal-scoring pace right now. And he's a good leader. He's good at face-offs. He's a grinder. He's kind of tweaked his game a little bit now that he's older. He doesn't have the offensive talent that he used to have, but he's making up for it in the way he's playing. He's playing very aggressive, if you notice the Johnny Tavares of yesterday as opposed to today. So a totally different game. And I think he's one of those guys that's enjoying playing for Berube because he is a defensive player too.
So yeah, where Whalen's question is net. Like we said, Alex Lyons off the IR now. He got a win for him this week, but last week he wasn't playing. And then Whalen's got Pyotr Kochekov, who was 1-1 for him, but and then he had Sam Maltonball, who gave 9 goals for him last week. So Whalen's weakness in net, if he can find some kind of consistency there, he'll be back in things in the Ovechkin. So that was that matchup. And gentlemen, indulge me. We have one more matchup to talk about. I thank you for hanging with us here. It was a big matchup, but it was the most lopsided matchup of the week. Woody Woodpeckers, they're 8-2 now, guys. They beat Dan Hall's Killer Bunnies 16-6. I didn't really go into depth in this one because we didn't have a commissioner's corner. I'm at the mercy of my computer here, guys. Where this one was won. Oh, the Killer Bunnies did not
goaltending.
He did not meet the goalie requirements. So, man, that stinks. I think that's happened to Holy before. Yeah, that was the big one. He only went 1-1. He only had 2 starts, guys.
It killed him.
Man. He was right there in all the big 3, but Mark was better. 12 goals to 10. Mark was also better.
Brutal win.
Yeah. Has it happened to either one of you yet?
Yes, it happened to me earlier this year.
Purely by mistake, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you that losing your goaltending stats, which I like, and I know Jimmy's talked about not knowing what to do about it, but I like it. I like the minimum 3 starts. And if you can't find 3 starts in a week, then you don't deserve to win that game. But I'll tell you what, if you don't meet it, you have no chance of winning in this league. That was the big difference, was the Woodpeckers took advantage of Dan, and I don't know how Dan forgot about a goalie, but it's not good. It's going to cost you a week.
Yep. So I'm going down the offensive stats. It looked pretty even. Like Mark had a way better power play, 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points for Mark's power play. Dan Hall, 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points. That's not bad. He also had a shorty to Dan Hall, so he won that category. GWG's was real tight. Mark edged him out 3-2. Dan dominated in shots on goal. Well, not dominated, but he beat him by 10. And he out-faced off Mark 118-62. He out-hit Mark 76-49, and he out-shot block Mark 53-30. So he was right there, and then, the goaltending stats wiped out. Mark was a pedestrian 2-2 in net, gave up a lot of goals. He gave up 11. Save percentage was not good, .891. But with those categories not counting, that's why it was 16-6. Okay, that explains it. I wasn't even paying attention last week to that. But let's talk about Killer Bunnies. Travis Konechny, though, made Team Canada. Storky, I know you're excited probably for that. Do you think Team Canada's team is going to be too small? There's a lot of small players on their team. Brandon Hagel, but they can get it done.
No, I mean, they got some talent, obviously, but I think I've mentioned to you before what I think the team to beat's going to be, and that's America. I mean, I hate to say it, but they've got offense, they've got defense, they got goaltending. It just doesn't favor Team Canada, and I mean we've got up front, we're solid. Our defense are okay, and I'm not enjoying the goaltending that they're bringing there. America's just packed with solid goaltenders, and that'll probably be the difference. So I think America goes into this tourney definitely favors.
Get back to Dan Hall's team. He's got one of the Americans, Charlie McAvoy. He only gave him 2 points. Logan Cooley, an American, he did not make the team. He had 4 assists. I like the way Utah is playing lately, though. Travis Konechny, like I just said, 4-point week. I love that player. I think you used to have him, Stork. Couple more standouts before we wrap this one up. Oh, Jason Zucker was a pickup for him. He had 3 goals, 1 assist for Dan Hall. So, I mean, Dan Hall had some good numbers there all around. Dylan Larkin is his captain, crushed it in the faceoff dot, 25 faceoff wins. I mean, Dan Hall's goaltending carousel is great. He's got Lukas Dostal, Andre Vasilevsky, who went 1-1 for him, and UC Saros, who's not playing the greatest on a crappy team.
Man.
But
no
yeah,
excuse
just,
to not have enough goaltending.
I love his carousel there. Just couldn't get that third start. So, Markey, let's talk about Leon Draisaitl. 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. I mean, that's his keeper. That's his captain. There was rumors Markey was shopping Leon Draisaitl. I won't talk about it to who, but he was trying to shop Leon Draisaitl, and I think he's closed that deal. I would not trade Leon Draisaitl, boys. Markey's getting a great year out of Jacob Chychrun. We talked about that earlier, Stork. He's got Josh Morrissey, who I think is on that cusp, but he could be a Norris candidate. Just he's not on that top tier yet. But Clayton Keller, 4-point week, and on Johnny Carlson, 3 assists. So Mark's got some good consistent players. He got rid of Artemi Panarin, but he ended up getting him 2 assists last week. And then in goal, it looks like Mark picked up Blackwood this week. And he picked up Shesterkin. He already had Swayman, who was 1-0, and he has Ilya Sorokin, who's kind of struggled on the island. He was 1-2 for Markey. So, but Mark gets the job done, and has a first-place tie with Scott Lanham. 8-2 are those 2 guys. Anything stand out that you guys want to talk about last week?
I think we pretty well covered everything we need to cover, buddy.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys.
But I definitely want to do another show next week for sure. We want to catch up on stuff, so I think that's important that we do that.
Boxing Day, baby.
Yeah, Boxing Day. Any plans, Tim? Are you going back to Hawaii? You've been to Hawaii a lot this year, buddy.
Oh, no. I will be in the same, technically, city as you for this Christmas holiday. So,
right on. I'll try to get with you here sooner or later. We still got some NHL game. We got some. I'm just going to give you some fantasy score updates this week, real quick, guys, before we wrap her up. We still got late games going in the National Hockey League, but league scores here in Week 11. Wayland, like I said, is pounding me 17-4. We're in divisional Week 11 now. The Woody Woodpeckers, the guys we just talked about, 12-9. They're leading Alex and the Cherry Bombs. Huma is leading DB Cooper at this moment, guys, 10-7. DuPont, we were talking about you. You're pounding Nick 16-3.
Oh, 16 now. Nice.
Yeah. I'm going off fresh stat tracker here, so I'm sure it's going to change. Well, Prover Etiquette is beating you, Stork, 18-2. What's going on in this one?
I'm okay.
Stark.
And it's all. It looks like goals against right now for you. You're giving up some goals, buddy.
I'm having troubles there.
Yeah, Killer Bunnies. They're rebounding it currently. Let's see if he's actually got 2 wins already. So it looks like Dan Hall will get 3 starts. I would hope. He's 2-0 already, so he has a 1 point edge over Scott, 10-9. So those are the scores right now in Week 11, guys. And it's been a great show, and I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Whenever this is up on YouTube, and I'll try to get this out to the our fantasy league. Tim Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about the Kraken tonight. The Caps also lost to the Blackhawks a couple nights ago. When's your next Kraken game?
I'll be going on the 30th, so a week. Well, not a week, a little over a week.
Right, yo. Storky, you been going to any games?
No, but the wife and I are planning on going to see some Abbotsford Junior Canucks games in Abbotsford. So I haven't gone to a hockey game this year, but we're going to go go see the mini Canucks.
And pretty soon you'll see Seattle Thunderbird defenseman Sawyer Mini, I would hope. He's on the Team Canada Juniors coming up, so you'll love that player. So it's too bad Tim couldn't visit you when he went to Survivor Series, but I'll make sure I can get across that border if they let me back over in that country. I'll come and see you, bro.
Why wouldn't they let you in the country, man?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been there since 2019.
Hell, I wouldn't worry about
know.
that. You're
I
good.
hope there's nothing on my record. But for the pipe player Tim Kelly,
Thank you, sir.
let's get him some more wins here. And the deputy Kevin Stork of the Langley Scorpions. I'm the mailman, the commissioner, Jimmy Wellstead. It's been a great night for hockey. It's a great day for hockey, as Badger Bob always wants to say. Thanks for joining me. I guess this is episode 2 of the year 3 League Fantasy Hockey. Thanks for joining us.
We're doing 3.
Let's have a great night and a great week. Good luck in your fantasy matchups, gentlemen, and take care. And Merry Christmas.
Take care, guys.
We don't talk to you.
Merry Christmas.
All right, boys. Good show, boys.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent.
Peace out.